It's okay.
Whew, and we live. Yeah. That was stressful. So I'm really sorry about that. I really hope that because before was 15 people and now are 3. So yeah. Oh, 4. Okay. We catch up. Okay. I apologize for the technical issues. So let's start from the very beginning. Welcome to the podcast. So I really, really appreciate that you are here. So you're really, really welcome. So from last time, we have a bit more people. So which are looking at us now. So before we start, I want to make a short announcement about the podcast. So yeah, that's about questions. So if you want to ask questions, so you should write this in the comment section down below. We will on the side. I think on YouTube is on the side. So we will read those comments and those questions at a certain point of our podcast. So, but we can not catch up the sense of the questions because we can just go into another direction. Just completely forgot about the topic. What was there, and because of that, please write the topic of your question and then the question, so we understand about what the question is about. Okay. So, yeah, and my wife calls me. Yes. Hello. Okay. I think it was okay. I should just want to say that's everything okay. So, my guests today are 2 absolute madlads, but in the same time very chilled persons. They are Anja. Her name has 4 letters. The word Quak has 4 letters. The word Oboe has 4 letters too. Coincidence? I don't think so. She's Austrian, rambling around since 1996, and just finished Bachelor in HSLU Luzern. So, and studied now in the Pedagogy department in the same university. She has a lot of love for Oboe, English horn, orchestra, free improvisation, and SHEEEP. My next guest, my second guest, or first guest, sorry, is Hanna. Is also an escaped Austrian, even if her Swiss friends like to mistake her for Liechtensteinian. Finishing her bachelor studies in flute and improvisation at HSLU Luzern as well. As they share their nationality as well as their love for woodwind instruments and dorky, high-volume discussions about memes. Anja and Hania friendship was inevitable, even before studying in the same city. So Anja and Hannah, I'm finally welcome you today.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having us.
Ivan.
And I hope we have everything fine by our podcast. I should read some messages. Sorry, just a moment. Yes, so yes, yeah, my wife just give me some yeah some advices. Okay. So, hello Hannah. Hello Anya. So,
Hi,
Hello.
Hannah, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward.
Sorry,
How
sorry.
are you?
Yeah, I'm a bit stressed out. And I find out finally what is the mistake was. I made my um, podcast on in the program, but not on the YouTube.
Oh shit.
So yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so we will discuss today about. So we will try So discuss about the topic improvisation, and we go slowly to this point because we can. I think we can just jump straight away to this topic, but we're going just step by step, I think. So, and I want to ask you both about how you meet together. So there were two words about your friendship. So can you describe you both versions of you how you met? So first, Hannah, please you.
Okay. So Anja and I met before we were studying Lucerne together. I don't remember exactly which year it was. It was quite a few years.
I think I know. I think
Really?
I know.
Really? I remember.
Yes.
Was our first time meeting? Was that at the competitions thing, or was that more likely to be like in orchestra or something?
I mean, I remember my first time talking to you. I really like talking and laughing about stupid things. I remember it was in November, I guess November 2014.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
because yes, 14 it was, because I still remember we had a gig together when I was a kind of Zuzüger Oboe in the Musikverein in Triesen.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And I remember I really admired the first flute because she was very cool, very beautiful, and so small. And she had like the coolest sound still on flute, and this is how we got like to interact with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so our first time meeting was in Triesen.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Liechtenstein, for all of you who don't know.
For a little bit of backstory, I grew up in Liechtenstein, which is why most of my Swiss friends like to mistake me for a Liechtensteinian. But in Liechtenstein, they do nourish a similar tradition to the way they nourish it in Switzerland. Is this tradition of woodwind orchestras, or wind orchestras, really? Not really woodwind, but well, yeah, every little city in Liechtenstein has one. And of course, I had to be city, village, more like. And I'm really sorry if I offended any Liechtensteinian audience, but well.
Don't be sorry. You can
Well,
offend. It's my show.
True.
No, but I've been part of this orchestra ever since I'm 8 years old or something. So I could barely hold my flute, but I was already part of this orchestra. And apparently, when I was 16 or 15 or something, oh my God! But you know that was a very historic year for me. The year where you were the first, like when you helped us out. That was like the year when I first got I got the first chair and stuff. And
yes, and you had a solo. Oh my gosh, you had a solo piece to play.
Oh yes, my solo.
Yes, and it was great. I loved it so much.
It was so funny. It was like this bluesy thing.
Yes, and you were like doing this jazzy bluesy thing on the flute, and I was like, this is cool. This is cool.
Crazy. Yeah. But I mean, we did see each other a lot after that as well.
Yes.
I mean, you were studying in Feldkirch.
Yeah, just I was like there not studying the oboe, but I did like a pre-college on singing, and then we met in various orchestras and gigs and also competitions and stuff. So yeah, we do have history.
No, a good history.
If you may, I have also my first remembering of your friendship. So I think yeah, because I think we first met on impro ensemble.
Yes.
All together, and it was like 2000, I think 17. Yeah.
17?
Yeah, 17 or
18, I think,
or
beginning of 18.
maybe of 18. Yeah. So and I don't remember why, but I remember like just that you're introducing yourself to each other, and maybe you're just making like fun of me or fun of other people. I don't know. So yeah, and just I feel like it's really strange. They just learn each other and they have so like just chemistry, like it's crazy between them. So that's why you already knew each other for 3 years before.
Yes. Yes.
Now it's clear. Now it's clear. Now we're talking. Okay. So yeah. So so the improvisation, I think this is the topic, and the improvisations ensemble is the place where we met together. So and that's why. So I want to. So today's topic is improvisation. So and we have everybody different backgrounds. So in this study, so in our free so improvisation ensemble, we done mostly so free impro, but we also take part in some different projects separately or together, where was also like art performance or performing in some kind. So yeah, and that's why we're talking today about improvisation. So and this is kind of big topic, and for example, also my wife write already a question, fired straight away. So what is improvisation for you? So I cannot answer for these questions. My head is collapsed when I think what is improvisation in general. Like, so yeah, but I think so. I will ask this question to you, Anja. So because I think you're like a fresh one in this kind of thing. So
A fresh one.
yeah. So no, I mean, so it's like when you do some stuff for 10 or 15 years, like you start to forget how you like why you're like finding this improvisation in the first place. So that's why I want ask you about what improvisation is for you, and maybe add as well the second question: what kind of improvisation is your favorite?
Okay. That's a really hard question, though. But I'm just trying to get into it. So, as you said, I'm a fresh one in this business. And I also just had my really first serious contacts with improvised music in general, speaking about free impro, tonal impro, and everything that goes with it. When I came to Lucerne to study my bachelor, before, for sure, I knew about it mostly because of jazz, but I never really tried it, and I also never had the courage to really. I don't know. I didn't. It didn't even came to my mind to just start doing improv for myself, for example. And so my first contact was with the free improv class, the obligatory free improv class we had in the first year. Um, and this was like a very, very new thing to me, but I discovered quite quickly that this is a topic which I find interesting for myself. And I also searched about oboists, female or male, in the industry of improvisation. And there are really not many. I didn't find even one which was main instrument oboist and not maybe flutist, saxophonist who was able to improvise or play the oboe. So, and so for me, the question, what is improv for me? I would just out of my guts, I would say it is a big contrast to what I do normally with playing already written music, like in orchestra, in chamber music, and also in my solo repertoire as an oboist. Because I am a classical oboist, and I refer to myself as a classical oboist. So it is basically everything, like every sense of freedom you don't have in the written music. So it's a big contrast, but I don't think that it cuts each other out. So I love doing both. And in this semester, I just started to do a new thing, which is basically jazz impro, so jazz oboe, which includes a lot of improvisation. And God, guys, I suck so bad. Oh my
It's
God,
really hard.
it
It's
is.
really
And for
hard.
me, like free impro is the thing where I started to feel comfortable. But I mean, this took me nearly 2 years to really feel comfortable, really to do impro and to feel myself and to feel my instrument and to feel interacting with a group of people. And so this is, and now I've got a new challenge. I mean, yeah, jazz impro on oboe and jazz oboe in general. So this is the thing I'm trying out now, and we will see how that goes.
I think jazz improvisation is like really, really hard. Like it has tradition. So in free
Yeah.
improvisation, is I don't want to say this it's like complete new because the free impro starts already like in the 60s or something like this. Yeah, and but the jazz improvisation have so much roots and so much more like tradition side. So if you're doing something wrong, it's mostly like in the classic music. So it's like people like they will find it out like mostly immediately. I also did the jazz clavier like so, but like for myself, not in ensemble or something like this, where I study to like the formation, where you start into the like basic harmonies and how to develop the material, so how work on the piano. It is crazy how it's hard. It's very very hard. So and because it's because of tradition, because of different styles, because of like if you're doing something wrong, the people will just catch it like in the first second. So yeah, and I ask you as well. So what is your type of improvisation your favorite? So you already said. So you prefer. So maybe not prefer, but in which are you feel yourself more free in free improvisation or in jazz?
Myself, I am just able to do free impro until now. I feel comfortable with it, and so this is my thing now. I love to listen to jazz impro. Oh my God, I admire those people who are really into this. But for me, for myself, since I don't have a lot of skill and a lot of experience, free impro it is.
Okay, so so yeah, comfortable answer. So just no, yeah. I mean, I understand what you mean. For example, if someone phone me right now and say, "Hey, Ivan, do you want to catch up a jazz gig?" So in like in Soundgarden, I will say no, 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 no. I will fucked up. Sorry.
We don't do that here.
Yes. So and so Hannah, can I ask you the same question? So like, what like when you're maybe a bit different question, so how you see with the improvisation, the process of improvisation, so when you're going into the process, for example, of free improvisation, the about what you're doing in the first place.
I think improv for me as somebody who does it very regularly, um, for me it's turned out through time to be a situation of duality, really. You have two things that you're trying to do, or at least two things that you're trying to do at the same time. If, for example, you imagine you have a solo improv concert, so you're on your own, you're standing on stage, and you have to improvise a concert for 40 minutes at least. In that moment, what I would try to focus on is find a balance between, on the one hand, thinking analytically and thinking of memory and thinking of my intention. So it's like being in the past and in the future at the same time, but also not thinking. So really turning all of that off and saying, okay, this is my intuition, this is my present, this is the moment I'm in right now, this is my now, and my now is telling me to go there. For most of the time, as an improviser, I find myself enjoying the music I do and the music I'm playing and the music I'm hearing most if I feel like I can follow something, or as if I'm, yeah, if you're inspired while playing, if you really feel that there's something pulling you towards a direction, really. more than you creating your path heavily with a lot of effort. It can be very easy and very effortless. So it's sort of trying to find this balance that's, at the moment, at least in the situation I'm in right now, is a challenge for me, and is what I'm trying to focus on when I would start playing. That would be what I would try to tackle, this challenge. But I think really, and this is a little bit esoteric really, but if you ask any improviser, I think, and what is improvisation for you, they find a hard way saying that it's only in music, because it's kind of not. I don't like cooking after recipes. I prefer improvising. Or I don't know. I would not put on a script for a podcast like this. I would always try to be spontaneous. And of course it's kind of esoteric and spiritual, but if you put it lightly, it's kind of everywhere in speech and in this present moment really. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's a very catchy question for people who improvise a lot. They find themselves having a hard time pinpointing what is improvisation really. But
I know the perfect answer for if someone asks me about what is improvisation, I just say, get out of here.
Next question.
Yeah, because so no, I mean, so you can discuss about, but this is like what is history, or like what is classical composition, for example. So no, this is a nice questions, but I prefer when people like asking it's more concretely. So for example, because I can talk about method, I can talk about the technique of improvisation. So for example, I can structure in my head like how I will use this material, and how I can catch up in the situation when I hear some material from the another ensemble players. In such situation where we play in like in 7, 8, 9 people, so it's really hard. So when you're ask me about specific, I can answer you. But if you're like asking me so about this in general, okay, so sit down and I will talk for 10 hours straight.
No, but that's exactly the thing, and I think the further you go into, or the further you delve into a topic that is as complex as that really, if you ask a very general question, you could keep on rambling for hours. You're also passionate about something, but like that, you tend to dive into it so deeply that if somebody asks you a very concrete question, you don't have difficulty answer that. And I think that's like I think that's remarkable. It's like sort of also a skill, or it's demonstrating that there is work to be done in this thing, and you have done it, and you have had your thoughts, and you have had your feelings, and you figured it out for yourself. But the broader picture is just getting bigger and bigger through that, so it gets harder to describe.
Yes, exactly. So the deeply you're digging in, so the bigger the question appears, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just will read some comments. So from Air Salat 145 Sicilia. I don't know what this means. So
I mean, it's great. Sicily is great, so let's leave it here.
Yeah. So Rachel writes.
I know who that
writes Hanya.
Yes.
So and Sarah Wirnsperger writes, "Hi Hannah."
Oh, it's my cousin. Hi, Sarah.
So so I think we're doing fine. I think we starting like to go in deeper and deeper in this like improvisation thing. So I have a question from my wife. So it's a bit more specific. So is it more difficult to improvise alone or in ensemble or orchestra? So
it's not easier at all.
So I will send this question maybe for you, Anja, at first.
So, since I'm not the one who does improvisation so regularly, or I mean, I've been in the improv ensemble for quite a while, but unfortunately, for example, last semester I couldn't attend the free improv classes because it overlapped with another course I had to do. Yeah, it's really sad. I'm not mentioning which course because it would not be fair, but I would have loved to join improv ensemble also this semester. So I can just answer this. I I loved the improv ensemble, and each semester there was kind of a core group which stayed the same, and new people went and new people came, and I just loved the energy in there. I loved our tutors, our mentors, our teachers, however you will see them, our colleagues at some point when they played with us. I found it amazing, amazingly comfortable in a group. But I also had already the experience of having a group for free improv where you just didn't feel comfortable, where you just pushed and you went for it and you put new material and you just got lost and it
And
all
nobody
faded away.
care.
Yes, yes. But I don't think that's kind of a thing to hang yourself up on. It's just like also situation wise. Maybe sometimes you click with people, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to make effort, sometimes it all flows. And so I found myself in a really comfortable and a really amazing group and lots of pure amazing individuals, lots of great musicians and also great improvisers. So for me as a newcomer, kind of, it was like the heaven on earth, really. I mean, I really could let myself into it and dive, like you said before. I had some solo sets, I mean, or some solos, what you would say, but I never did improvise all on my own on stage in a concert situation until now. I did never. So I did for myself for sure, and I also did in maybe a very familiar circle of people, but I never had the experience, and I feel this can put a lot of pressure on you. It can be great, but I think for myself, you have to take more responsibility when you do a solo set. You have to, like you said before, Hannah, you have to reflect and not reflect at the same time. And I think this could be a very difficult thing for me because I get inspired a lot of other instruments for new sounds, new techniques. And so I think for myself at the moment, it would be easier to be in a group of people, I guess, for just the moment I'm now.
I have a very funny anecdote. Can I just add that before you comment on Anja, Ivan? It's regarding because Anja said you said that you've never really experienced doing a solo improv on stage.
Yes.
I just thought to myself, okay, but like Hannah, have you experienced that? Because in front of other people, I have played solos or I have recorded solos that I then sent to other people or to institutions and stuff. But have you actually been on stage and in front of a bigger audience, a broader audience, and improvised? And then I just thought of this one situation. It was amazing. We have these Vertiefungsmodule, right?
Oh yes,
like in the last year of bachelors, we have to take
Can you say this
classes.
in English?
Yeah, I'm about to explain it. It's like classes that prepare you. It's like preparatory classes.
Yeah.
It's one course over the course of one semester. It's probably every week, 2 or 3 hours. And it's supposed to prepare you for your master's. So either you choose a performance master's or a pedagogy master's, and regarding or like depending which one you choose or you're going for, you're going to take a different preparatory class in the last year of your bachelor's, or at least that's what Hochschulen in Switzerland work. And I had because my first year exam went really well and I had a really good grade. Everybody was like, yeah, you're going to go for a performance master's. You can take this performance preparatory class. And I had no idea what we're going to do in that, but I just signed up for it because everybody was like, okay, do it. And then we had what they called Auftrittstraining. If I would translate that, it's like you're training the stage experience, really. You're
Stage
training your stage presence, the way you walk onto stage, the way you walk off of stage, and how you act on stage. It's really, it's great. They do it great. They have nice rooms, nice facilities. They have actually very good staff that's very like amazing tutors that are very engaged and really want you to get better, but it's you do it very often. You do it over the course of like I think 10 or 12 weeks every week, and everybody plays, and there's like 22 people in that class, so you always just sit in this room for 2 hours every week and listen to people not even playing a whole piece, but just 2 minutes, because it's not about the piece, it's just about the way you go on and off of stage. It's really demanding.
Yes.
So everybody was kind of annoyed by the end of this course.
Yes.
The last class, where we had this practice, this stage practice, it was graded. So the
Yes.
whole staff was there, like the Studienkoordinator and all of the faculty members that were somehow involved in this preparatory class, and of course all of the students. And you actually had to go on stage and I think play a whole piece this time or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was important that you played by heart, and it was important that you played 2 different pieces. And I was really busy at that time. And I was able to play one piece. It was Telemann's Fantasie. I was able to play that by heart. I knew, because we had podium like a week before or something. And that was it. That was all I was able to play by heart at that point. So I was thinking, and on that day I was also very busy, and I was still like, I was having rehearsals all day with Emilio for Step Across, and I was really like in all of the 5-minute breaks, I was like trying to recreate pieces that I was able to play by heart in the past. I was like, oh my god,
Yes.
it was terrible. It was terrifying. And then on the bus on the way to the venue where this last class would be holding place, I had this fantastic idea. I was on the way there and I was thinking, I'm the weird flutist. I'm the
Yes.
one who studies improv. I'm the one who always loves playing contemporary pieces. I could go on stage and do whatever the hell I want. Nobody would notice.
Yes.
And I was like, what am I studying improv for? So I went into that class and I played like at second or third place because I had to leave early actually. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm doing this. And I had all my flutes. Like I had so many projects with all of my flutes that I just decided, okay, I'm gonna play with the alto flute. Why not? I'm gonna play a solo piece. So I went on stage and I played Telemann. And I took a break, and I took my flute, and I just improvised a piece that's like 4 or 5 minutes.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
it felt really good. It felt really natural. I felt very inspired in that moment. I felt very comfortable. And I went off stage, and I remember like 4 or 5 people in the audience turning my way, going like, "Oh my God, can you tell me the name of that composer again? That was amazing."
Okay, that's great.
So
That's great, Hannah.
ability to free improvise is very, very useful. When I entered the study of the Master of Academy in Russian Ballet, so I had this situation like your as well, 1-to-1. Just
Really?
I just make all the theoretic stuff. I make like the music history. So philosophy, English. So I was fine. But I have no time to learn the second piece as well for my final exam. So I just explained that for the commission, so for the professor. So the first piece is so it's Mozart's, so it's a sonata, and the second piece it's piece of my own, so I composed by myself. So I introduce myself at least. So yeah, so and just. Because you don't know what kind of piece, but they ask the names of the composition. So, but you can say the piece what before you improvise, because you have no idea what it's coming.
Yes.
So, and I just on this composition, so the name will occurs at the end of the piece.
No. Okay, that's great.
And I did it. It was something in minor. So it's like for 3 or 5 minutes, and like, and they ask, so what is his name? And I just, loneliness.
That's like the
How
best thing ever.
creative.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, free impro is so useful.
Yes.
So yeah.
Super useful.
So yeah, so you can use this on your interview, like so onto orchestras. So like I also compose stuff and like to bring this on. Like nobody care and nobody know. So yeah, I actually want to congratulate you because this is like was a perfect. So and how the story ends? So they got it. So do you have a nice?
I got an amazing grade. I got really good grades. Everybody was really blown away, especially the
it.
faculty members were all
Yes.
like, "You played such an unknown piece. It's so great. It's so refreshing to hear something we haven't heard before."
Amazing. Amazing.
This is a coming out situation. I never told anybody that it was improvised.
Yeah, I think the professor will not look on this video on YouTube. I think
Let's
so.
hope.
So,
Right, Peter?
We love you, Peter.
We do.
So yeah, so I want personally ask Hannah about one thing. So yeah, Hannah, what do you think about improvisation orchestra? And what is like to take part in the project like this when you're improvised with 20 of people without conductor, but with one very terrible director.
It wasn't that bad. Okay, so you are talking specifically about your improv orchestra.
If you're about my orchestra, and if you're playing another improvised orchestra, you can talk about your experience.
I have never played in another improv orchestra unless you count last year's improv.
Good for you,
because
Hannah.
there were
Good
so
for
many
you.
people. Oh, it was. I think. What led me to take part was curiosity. Definitely, I thought this Russian guy does a lot of crazy stuff, and it's a lot of fun to work with him. And he's very reliable. He has a lot of really like if you have a creative idea, you just follow it and you just go with it. And I was inspired by that, and I was thought, okay, fine. You want to do this? I'm on board. And I think the process of like the work that we did working up to or like looking towards the concert was a little bit difficult because there were so many people and we were barely everybody was there, so that was a bit hard. It's hard to really say how it was like at that time, but I remember that the concert was i was really I was really happy with the concert. I really thought that it it was a very specific, like it was a very special situation that I haven't come in since and I didn't come in before. So I made a lot of experiences in that concert that I couldn't have made otherwise. And in a way, I was reminded of improvisation contexts like improv games. I'm thinking Cobra by John Zorn or something, where we also we did follow
Don't
rules.
talk about that. Don't talk about that.
I'm not talking about that.
No, of course.
Okay. No, but I'm just mean like the vibe of everybody is just everybody's equal and everybody's allowed to make rules or to decide now an ensemble is playing or we're gonna do a cut now or I'm gonna play a solo, and that there's no hierarchy, as you said, that there's not a conductor or anything. I think that was a similar vibe for me as these kind of situations where you follow a game score, but it was very different in another way because all of us really did not know what was going to come out because there was not a single person in front who could have taken the lead in case something went wrong or could have, I don't know, changed everything up in case something got boring or something. It was really a very, very open situation. And I think I really loved that, and I thought I had a lot of fun. I remember having a lot of fun actually, and I really liked it.
Yeah, the so Hannah talks about our experience, the project which I did in the 2019. So in June, so we did like a project name is Impro Orchestra. You can check the video on my channel. So yeah, if you want. So and the idea was to create like a big improvisation ensemble, so or mini orchestra where people can play in one group without conductor and trying to organize and structure the material by themselves. So and I think this really really big thing about you said the responsibility. So I think this must be the it is my personal opinion, this must be a biggest thing so in improvisation and in specific in free improvisation. So because when about it's not only about so should I take step or should I not take this, should I make decision or not make this, like how it's will influence to another people, so and what how the material will change. So yeah, yes. So another question is for you both. So thank you, Hannah, for feedback. I really, really appreciate that you like this project. So you both remember experience with Fred Fried.
Yes, thank you, Anja.
So yeah,
No.
Fred Fried is American guitar player, free improvisation, and it's really, really big
What is
figure.
English?
Figure English. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
He is British actually, yeah, but
Yeah.
he lives in the US. Yes.
Okay, so that's why I made a mistake. Sorry for that if you seen is it look at this. Yes. So
Definitely.
yeah, you know, we have drunk vodka together, so I can mistakes.
Hey.
Did you drank
Yes.
vodka with Fred
Yeah,
Fried?
I
Oh
can.
yes, me too.
Yes.
True.
We catch him.
True.
We catch him in the bar.
Yes.
So
And the vodka was horrible, but he was like
not so
really
horrible.
fond of it.
So yeah, so I want to ask ask a question. So first to Anya. So do you remember the experience with Fred Fried? So what first impression and what the first thing which your
Oh
Merken,
God.
which you
I realized.
realized
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
when you meet him, so and start to working with him.
Oh my God, Ivan, that's like the perfect question because I just remember it was like really early in the morning. It was cold because it was November, and I went to Hochschule again, like really tired. I mean, I was curious, but I really was so tired and so in the shit with all my projects going on, with all my Hochschule stuff going on, practicing and stuff, and podium next week. And I arrived at the Hochschule at jazz department, the Grabenstraße in the morning. And I just came into the room like, hey, good morning, hey, like I always like ramble around. And then I just turned around and over my shoulder I noticed like a guy just sitting in the edge of the room, like I can't really do it, but with
Yeah,
these crossed arms. And you know his outfit, oh my gosh, he really had a like I he just I don't know, I can't really explain, but he really looked so American to me. Oh my gosh, he had this shirt on and he even carried a hat with him. Oh my god, like a cowboy hat. And
Oh,
I
right.
yes, and I just sat there and I really was like, oh my god, Hannah, oh my god, look at him, look at him. I think it's him. And I didn't even because he was not really like standing there presenting himself. He was just sitting and watching us how we dropped in the morning and just I don't know. He observed us a little bit just to get to know us and so on. And I was so confused at first, but it felt so great because the moment I looked at him, I was like, oh my god, this guy is so cool. I don't know him, but this guy must be so cool. And I just remember as you might have guessed, I loved his workshop. Oh my god, those 3 days were amazing, and I don't think that I never had so much continuous ideas, things, and games, and all of we just got all of it. We got two amazing concerts. The one in Unerhört Festival in Zurich at the Rote Fabrik was kind of really the really highlight of all of this. And also, I remember I was so intimidated at first because we played games. It was really fun, like circle games to get to know each other better, and then to get to know us as improvisers and musicians better. He kind of did a duo set stuff. Like he chose two people, do a duo together, and in the end there was just me, like alone, and him, and he was like, I was waiting for that. Now we do a duet, and I was like,
You're so freaking lucky.
I remember that. And I remember how good that solo was.
and
Or
I
that
just was.
duo.
Yeah, and I was there really, and I mean it was all thanks to him, but I really felt so good, and I was so intimidated, but with him together at the piano, it was just great, and it was just like a maybe a 1 or 2 minute set, and I still remember that, and it's really not just because it was Fred Frith, but this guy has some skills you can't imagine. It's great. I mean, you were there, you experienced that, and it was really really great.
I want to add
This is
something.
some great promotion for Fred.
Commercials. Yes. Fred can do for us commercial will be really nice. So I really remember his style of improvising and his method, because he's kind of a spider, I would say. I will clarify this what I mean. So you can play whatever you want, but as he starts with you, you will go in the direction in which he will starting to found. So he makes not the border, but like kind of a frame in which you will feel yourself very, very comfortable. So, and he said, you just go there, so take your time. So like experience and explore this area, and I will be here just on the side. And what I realized that when you're together, we played together. So, and I did a really little research before he comes, and he made this with another another musician with whom he improvised together. He likes this stuff. He likes just to no, just play. But
Yeah.
he just like really like the man in the shadows. So nobody sees him, but he ruled the real deal. So, but I was really impressed how he can do this not only with one or two people. He can do with all of the ensemble, because
Yes,
everybody
yes.
likes. So not like this, but I mean, so the musically, so you won't by yourself going in direction in which he shows you, because he shows to you. So why are you going there? The shit and stuff and alcoholics, and here's so nice. So
Yes.
So no,
Yes.
I'm really really sorry. Alcoholics are also now nice. I'm really sorry. So here's shit and very tough people, and yeah. So why do you go there? You can go there. So yeah. And do you all remember the? I also appreciate he has also the structure. So it was fun, but it was always structured. So he just understood already in the moment. So okay, this doesn't work. We should do it in another way. And he gave us another exercise. So it was really really professional. So it's one of the best profession which we had in 2 years. So, and your expression, Hannah?
I just today actually thought of Fred for real.
Me too.
I'm rereading a book right now. In case anybody is interested in reading something interesting about improvisation, I got this recommendation from Lauren Newton when I was studying with her. She was like, "This is my Bible. Read this."
Amazing.
It's called Free Play by Steven Nachmanovich, and it's a really interesting book. It's very light-hearted in a way, but it's still very touching. And I'm rereading it. And I stumbled over a phrase today that was talking about how, as an improviser, if you go into music, it's almost, or if you start a piece, it's almost always like you have to give something up. You're always, either when you're playing something and you notice it doesn't work, or the other ensemble players, for example, tell you it's not the direction we want to go in, you have to be able to kill your darlings. But also, for example, if you play solo, if we're going to pick that up again, you have to give up your feeling of or your fear of risk. You have to take a lot of risk. But also, and I think this really reminded me of Fred, is when in Nachmanovich's book, he writes about how if you go into an improvisation, you're always free from expectation. So you don't have any expectations. If you have expectations, they're not going to come true. And that reminded me of Fred, because he had this one phrase that I think it's burned into my brain, where he always said, "There's no hope in improvisation."
There is not such thing as hope. And we were all like, this is the no hope crew. I love it.
Yeah, it was, we were all sitting in there going like, his pessimism is absolutely
gorgeous.
Yeah. It was amazing. And it's so true. I mean, it is so true. It's such an essence. And he has this wonderful talent of just having a lot of wisdom inside of him, inside of his American blue jeans.
Yes.
Throwing casually and throwing it at you. It's just throwing life's wisdom at you, going in like kind of fragmented a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, and also like wrapped up nicely.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe there's a swear word or two. I mean, he's a really cool guy, and it's absolutely amazing that we had him here.
Yes.
I really loved his workshop. And I also think that he did an amazing job at putting us together as an ensemble.
Yes. Oh my God.
I just felt that because I kind of brushed on it earlier when I said last semester's improv ensemble was so huge, or so many people. I mean, I'm really happy. That means that there's a lot of people interested in improv at the HSLU, but they had to split the improv ensemble into 2 ensembles for this semester. That's how many people there were. It's like
crazy.
It's not an ensemble anymore if there's 15 people. It's almost an orchestra then. And I noticed in last semester's group that we really had struggles finding us as a group. Even an entire semester is almost too little for this big of a group to find themselves, like to really play together, to feel understood in music. And I feel like this ensemble we had when we were working with Fred, it was just the first until the last moment we were one. Unit. We were all like, we had this guy, and this guy kind of, like Ivan said, he like showed you the way, and he was like, look, this is a nice path. It's already laid out for you. You want to walk it? I prepared it for you.
Yes.
Like 35 years of experience. Just right there.
Yes.
It was really cool. I really loved not just the musical context, but really also the social context of his class. It was really engaging, very rewarding. Yeah. So.
Yeah, as Anja says, it was like in the really cold time in November, so the CERN is not like in St. Petersburg, for example. But it still can be really shitty when you come like early at 9 a.m. like and you take your coffee and you don't want to start the day, and everybody's just get out of there. So and there, Fred. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, how are you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just sit down. We have work to do.
Yes.
So so it's just like he's really professional, and it was a really nice experience. Okay, I have another.
One second, Ivan. Just for you two who also were there, just as a to finish all of this topic up. Remember, we had this concert, and he always had these little insiders, the No Hope crew, blah blah blah. And at the end of the concert, he really just turned to the audience and said, "Thank you so much for you showing up, guys, for us, and for especially for me. It was a horror and a pressure."
Never forget.
Yeah, never forget this, because we were just, the first time he said that, it was like, aha, he meant like, yeah, an honor and a pleasure. No, a horror and a horror and a pressure. And we were like, nice.
This guy.
No, it was
Yeah.
like
It
Yes.
sums him up pretty well, I think.
Yes, it
I
was a
actually-
horror and a pressure.
Yeah, I feel really bad for rambling on about this even further, but just I was in Basel a lot last semester or the beginning of this year because I had a lot of projects with people there. And actually, a lot of my friends are studying either improv or contemporary music in Basel, and they had their last project with Fred in March
Oh,
because Fred was teaching improv in Basel now for
Yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
he did his last project in March, and I got to listen to one like to the dress rehearsal one day before the concert, and it was really cool. It was also like this huge. It was an orchestra, really. It was more than 25 people, but he also wrote stuff, so it was like his composition. But as far as I heard from the people involved, it was also more like fragments of parts, and they were put together completely differently with improvised solos or small ensembles and stuff. And it sounded like the moment I sat in there and they started playing, I just went, oh, this music. I know he's not playing. He was kind of sort of conducting. He was kind of standing in front of them, and at the moment they started playing, I was thinking, he's not even playing, but I noticed that this is his music. I
Yes.
can hear that this is Fred. And that's really remarkable. It's really,
That's remarkable.
especially like in this field of improvised music, we're always trying to play non-idiomatically, so not to sound like anything. But you can't sound like nothing. You always sound a little bit like something. And that's a nice part, because otherwise, if there's no associations to what you can hear or read or say, there's really nothing, you can't understand it really. So it's still really hard as an improviser to find one language or one sound that is really remarkably you. It's something that jazz musicians really strive for, is this individual sound that people recognize you, that you're recognizable. And in improvised music, it's a completely different question, but Fred just nailed it.
Yes.
yeah, Fred is a really nice guy.
That's it.
Yes.
No, it was really, for me as well, it was like a fantastic experience. So to have some, because we had some not perfect professors. So for example, yeah, who lead,
Any
who'd lead, don't say the names.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I mean,
What?
so some of them just maybe a bit too young, maybe not so focused, so maybe a bit too philosophical. But like with him, I felt discipline. It's just my personal opinion. So I felt like structure, and I felt like we're doing stuff right now, we're working in, and like, yeah. So yeah, we hope if Fred Fried somewhere can see this video. So hello there, thank you very much.
Yeah, quite a few friends here.
Yes.
Okay, so are we ready for another question?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. How is improvisation common in the world? Are they? Yeah.
Damn.
Are there
damn.
are they many improvisation projects outside the classroom? For the second questions, yes, there are many. For the first question, I will ask maybe Anja again.
Oh.
How is
yes.
improvisation common in the world? I mean, so in the musical world. I mean,
Yes.
so I mean, so like, so if you will take the classic music, like the contemporary music, so and yeah.
Okay. So I will try to separate the question a bit. So when I talk about free improvisation, I'll just take free improvisation now as an example.
Yep.
I think that free impro still, and even among musicians and musicians who study, they do have this stigma around free impro. Like the stigma with free jazz, that some people are just like, it is just something. There is nothing behind it, no thought, and you can do whatever you want, and it sounds always whatever. So, and the same goes with free impro. I have to admit that before I entered university and Hochschule here, I also had not really a. Okay, so I have to just explain in Vorarlberg, in the most western part of Austria, close to Liechtenstein, where I grew up.
Is it Austria?
We don't know. So, it's
Austrian
basically...
Liechtenstein nationalismus.
So, we don't have this kind of a big music scene with various... how should I say, like various fields, different fields in music. So we do have a classical scene for sure. I mean, we are small. We are quite exposed on the very west of Austria. Not at all a comparison to Vienna, where there's a really hotspot for this really like Viennese classic and romantic and also Baroque stuff also. So I really never got in contact with musicians doing free impro. And also on the conservatory where I was doing my pre-college in singing and classical singing, we didn't have any courses about improvisation really. The only field where I got to know impro with people who were in folks music and in jazz. And so we didn't have quite an impro, like a free impro scene. And I got to know it here. And I have to admit, I also got to know it through a lot of great people from Zurich, from Lucerne, all over Switzerland. And I have to admit that I also fell in love with it, kind of, because we had so many great people teaching me, inspiring me, and people I could listen to in concerts or whatever festival settings. I think that in the world out there is still this stigma. Bye, honey.
Bye, honey.
There is still this stigma of people thinking that free impro is not an effort, that free impro doesn't have concept, and that free impro is kind of for those free spirits and only for those kind of weirdos who are not located in any other section of the or who don't identify as maybe jazz musicians, as classical musicians or whatever. So I think there's a lot of stigma and a lot of misunderstanding also still, because we do have this obligatory free impro class. I think this is a great thing because people get in contact with this, and I think that I wouldn't have gotten involved so quickly with this if not through this course. But also on the other hand, it reduces the topic a bit. It downgrades it, you could say. It downgrades it maybe a bit for if you make something obligatory. For sure, there are some people who don't want to do it, but they have to do it. And it's like in every other course also, you can't really ditch that. You some things you just have to do in order to maybe finish your studies or go on in your career or whatever. But I think that there should be like a more open-minded setting from people who are not in impro themselves, but also I found myself in contact with some impro people who were really, really narrow-minded in this case, like
classical music, I mean, yes, for sure it was a thing, but we don't need it anymore. We need new music. We need impro. We need this. And I was like, no, we need all of that. Fact. I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. We need all of that. All of that is history, and history defines now and defines future like everywhere else. So, in my opinion, there should be a like a movement from both sides. So, if you got any from that blah blah I just did
No,
know.
no, no. I just got. I think I got most of that blah blah, and I agree. So in some points, so we should not focusing each on hating each other. So the classical is better, or like free is better, or jazz is
Yeah.
better. I mean, as a professional, we should, as performers, for example, musical performers, we should be able to do stuff even that we don't like. For example, you should know at least about free improvisations. It's not just like you sitting and scratching the table for 40 minutes or something like this. Yes, yeah, it's like it's you're searching the material, you're working with material which you have found, you're structure this material, you vary this with this material, you show your ensemble player abilities, you're working with another people, so you have responsibility, and so on and so on. Yeah, and as well as in classic music, so classic music is our background, is our tradition. So, and we can not forget about this. We cannot
Yes.
just cut away those traditions. Just no. It doesn't exist. And yeah, I do my thing. I focus on the free improv. No, man. So you can't do this. So I agree with you. And it's said for free improvisation, what's especially said for me. So I would say the free improvisation is not so like financially sexy. So it's like yeah, like so you cannot. So it's like really my dream to make the free improvisation is like the financial successful. Like when you have orchestra, when you're just doing the free, because we can do free improv like very interesting. So
Yes.
yeah, so and there are ways how you can do it. So and this is like really my dream, because the people when they hear free improv, like they think, oh okay, you do this type of stuff, and they just say okay, so now he will talk to me about like the second flageolet on the violin, and how he improvised on this flageolet for 40 minutes. I don't know why I have this number 40 minutes like for the second time. Yes, but yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like it's tough times in general, because yeah, and as well as I think what can be useful, that we can also like respect the pop music as well, because we can took
Yes.
a lot from there, and we don't really study the things like groove. We only study groove like in jazz music. So yeah, so we don't sound like groove, because groove comes from pulse come from rhythm, and so like there are some different rhythmical organization in pop music which can be like very useful in some free improvisation to make the process of performing more not understandable, but you can approach people.
Accessible.
So yeah,
Yes.
accessible. Exactly. Thank you, Hannah. So yeah, it's like a big problem, and I don't know in which direction this goes. How do you think, Hannah? So do free improvisation have a chance to go on the big scene, like to become more popular?
I really hope so. I would wish so. I would really wish so. Because I'm actually going to focus on that for the next 2 years. Not necessarily on improv alone, but definitely I see it as my goal of the next 2 years to find myself, or to find a space, not just in the artistic world and creative world of musicians and artists, but also in the economic world somehow.
We all should do this money.
I mean, not necessarily only on that, but just find a little niche, a little place where I can do my own stuff, where I can do this crazy stuff that I am so fond of. And it's not just improvised music, it's also contemporary music that, for example, is composed in a way that really engages improvisation, or for example, working with a composer on a piece that is completely written, but the process is so spontaneous and so exciting that he rewrites half of it because of what you told him, for example. And it's just these kind of process. Not that I hate composers or not what they write. I really do.
Because this dumb fuck should to know how to write music.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
Our video is gonna be taken down now because of your brutal.
Sorry.
No. It's just I would love to spend or to find a place for myself where I can find myself rewarded, not just physically and psychologically, but also economically for this work that I really, really love, which is a little bit, as you said, financially unsexy so far.
Yes.
So I really...
Yes.
I really hope that that's gonna work, but I think I'm on a good path. I have some really...
Yeah, there are
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Hannah, you told us today in our afternoon sound check meeting that you have some big news, and I asked Hannah. So for all who don't know, I asked Hannah about how her studies and how her life will go on or change from autumn, from September on or so. So Hannah applied for some different schools. Hannah did have some different plans in mind, and Anja and so many other people out there are so freaking excited about what she will tell us now, because she said she will reveal where she is going to go and what she's going to do from summer on, and I'm so excited. Tell us.
A big reveal. Thank you so much for the introduction. I applied, as you said, to a number of universities and in a number of cities. And initially, my idea was to leave Switzerland, as hard as it hurts in my heart. But throughout the course of the year, I got to know a lot of really cool professors and also students and ensembles based in Basel. So I was really considering, okay, I really would like to study at FHNW, and I think because Basel also has a contemporary faculty as well as an improvisation faculty, as well as a sound design / electronic music faculty, and they're all working together, and it's so fantastic. And the way that they organize all of that, I just loved it. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna apply for that as well. And I actually got a spot there. I also have had a spot reserved for me in Lucerne, if I'm allowed to say all of this. I hope so. But actually, I'm gonna turn all of those down.
Yes, no, she's not. No.
Because I applied for a really cool master's program. It's gonna happen in 4 different cities, and it's called Contemporary Performance and Composition.
Okay.
And there's only 10 spaces every 2 years, and I got one of them.
Hey!
Oh my God!
I'm so ready.
I was ready.
I was ready. Oh my God! Look at that kazoo. Yes. Oh my God, Hannah, I'm so sorry for that outbreak, but I'm so happy for you. And really, this is so dumb that we have this isolation situation at the moment, because you can't imagine how hard I would squeeze you now, because I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you, really. I was just telling Fabian before that I would wish for you and for what all of you told me that you would get a spot there, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you right now. Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's really crazy. It's still a little bit unreal for me.
Oh my God,
But
so cool.
I'm super excited, and I'm gonna be moving to Estonia.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's a bit cold there.
Yeah. My mother also said that the only things that I have to move are all of my winter clothes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
So it's mostly St. Petersburg.
I would have
It's
said
pretty
yes.
close, right?
Yes, it's on the way, and you can. I think you can go if you have no problem with the St. Petersburg. There are like 500 kilometers or so.
Really only.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ah, okay. So we in Switzerland. Yeah, it's like 500 kilometers. It's so many.
I was just like 500 kilometers. That's a lot. We're in Europe. We still are here.
Sorry,
That's
Russia
what-
is 9,000 kilometers from side to side. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, no.
You want to know how many is Liechtenstein?
Oh yes.
3 meters.
Kind of.
In some places.
Yes.
I congratulate you, Johanna. It's like really like very big step in your professional career. So I want to congratulate you. Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
nicely done.
guys.
So
Ah.
cool. So cool.
We have,
Yeah.
we have a lot of friends in the chat from you. So
Yes.
also congratulations from my wife. Congratulations
you.
from Elizabeth Wieland. Hannah,
Oh, my
which
cousin. My
How many
20
cousins?
cousins are on the
Yes.
call right now.
Anna Schwester. Hi, honey, mega cool.
Oh,
So, and Elizabeth Wieland has a question as well. So, should we read it?
yes.
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 So, if you want to talk some more about your program, you're very very welcome. Forget about it.
At-
So let's go to
In
the question.
summer,
Okay.
when we are all together again, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
We made we will make another podcast just for this purpose to talk about to talk about Hannah's new
Yes.
program and about the clothes which she should bring to the Estonia.
Yes. Yes.
So-
Exactly.
I also it's a funny story, but I meet the professor, the Christoph Baumann, in Estonia in the conservatory of Estonia, and that's why I decided to move here to study in Switzerland.
No way.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
What were you doing in Tallinn?
So there were master classes. The director of the conservatory, it's like he made course of master class based on improvisation. So he organized the most like the high end of the professory, which have to do with improvisation and with free improvisation in specific. And he invited all of these professors to do master classes and in this. And I applied to do. And I thought that is like for students. And I was like one there who was like in this type of condition. There other was a professor.
No way.
Yeah,
So cool.
yeah, and everybody. So yeah, I study in the Barcelona University for 15 years, and so on. So like the München and so on, and like hi, and I had a terrible accent on this time. I just my English was so poor, so I just and then my name is Ivan. I coming from Russia, so I just finished my conservatory studies, and I tried to do free improvisation. So yeah, and just like okay, like just let's see what you have. Like yeah, it was really really funny, and like that's why I chosen to go to the Switzerland because of the Christoph. So.
Wow.
So cool.
Yeah, so we definitely made another podcast to talk about your clothes, which you should bring to the Estonia. Yeah, and there, okay,
Great for
it's
anything.
like one free tip for you. There are the restaurants. The name is Lido. This is like it's naturally like I think it's like from the Latvian restaurant. So, but there is crazy cheap and crazy like food is like for 10 euros, you can eat like you can like 5 or 6 dishes and 2 beers. Yeah. So go there. It's like it's near conservatory. So Google it and go there when you have time. So
I will think of you.
thank you very much. So the question from Elizabeth Whelan. I am a classroom teacher for 9 to 12th grade. We are focusing on popular music, also some classical. Do you have any recommendations to get started? Building a bridge between those two worlds with maybe building a bridge between those two worlds with impro? So I think we let Anja to answer this question.
Definitely.
To be honest, I was thinking a lot about this topic already, just how we could also make it a topic for younger people who don't even know that this is a thing. Because to be honest, the Schwerpunkt Improvisation, which is offered in our bachelor studies, was a thing. I was not even sure what this whole thing was. So after finishing my bachelor, I just thought about what would have happened if I knew before what are even the options, what's possible, and what's a thing I could try. And so what we said before, or what Hannah mentioned before, that we always talk about improvised music or improvisation in music, but the origin of the word we always use for everything is so simple. We go on stage. Me, for example, in my bachelor exam, we go on stage and improvise like a whole speech you never practiced before, and there are like a lot of people, and I'm just there being like, "Hi, everyone." And I improvised all of that. And imagine being so nervous. And I talk a lot. I am skilled. I do talk a lot. But even for me, it was hard to focus on the thing. But in the end, it was okay. And we do this all the time. You asked me a question. I have no idea. My Matura exam. I had no idea what this guy was talking. I'm sorry, Mr. Yes, history teacher, if you see that now. I had no idea. I had no idea what this picture was about. And I talked so much around the topic, around what there was a picture. And they were like, tell me the date, tell me what's happened there, and tell me I don't know, like the surround, the information you got around this. And I knew the picture. I had seen it before. I had no clue what year it was. I had no clue which people were in this picture, and I had really no clue what was it called. And I was like, they're around this, and there was a lot of blah 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 blah. I did all of that, and really, I got a very good grade for that, and I don't know how. And this is what we do every day. We have to think about this topic improvisation as something we do every day. We do in every kind of situation in our lives. We do improvise when we speak. We do improvise when we arrive at a point in our lives where we don't know what to do. We never experienced it before, so we improvise. We do have a lot of knowledge based on whatever other people telling us, but impro is a mixture of all of that. And I think you could maybe get into free impro or impro in general when you start. 9th to 12th grade it was. I don't know. It's an age where people can reflect. It's not like children who want to play games, who really can be just caught on interesting, funny things. But I think in this age or at this point of life, you can really try to address the young people of tomorrow and be like, yeah, where do you improvise? Can you try to just get how much we improvise every day? And why shouldn't we do that in music? And there's just one thing I just wanted to mention also already before, that my teacher, my oboe teacher, Martin, he is a really great guy. I admire him so much for everything he does. And I think he's one of the most open-minded people and still one of the most focused ones I got to know. He is absolutely a classical musician. Classical oboe is playing amazing English horn and oboe in orchestra. But he once told me, when it comes to improvisation, also to contemporary music, the only thing you can say to people who are not in this whole thing, or even they are in the material, you can just tell them, don't expect anything. Fred Frith again. Don't expect, but be curious. Don't have hope, yes. But Martin said, don't expect anything, but just be curious. Be curious about everything. And you, as a performer, you also have to be curious, because with expectations also of contemporary pieces, you don't get far. You always will get somehow disappointed by yourself, by other people. But really be curious. Be curious about everything. And this is a thing that goes and that travels with us our whole lives. And I think maybe you could catch young people there, like, be curious, what is out there, why not learn about all of the types of music existing, why we should not listen to them, folks music, all of that, it all has a connection. And I think there maybe you can start. I don't know.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you really talk a lot.
Actually,
No, sorry.
I also have this very good gift. I also really like to talk a lot.
Yes. I think that was a question to you. So I just want to. I think that it will be nice that you both answer to this question. So yeah, what you think about this? So I can read one more time for people maybe who are just plugged into our podcast. We discussed in questions. So I am a classroom teacher for 9th to 12th grade. We are focusing on popular music, also some classical. Do you have any recommendations to get started? Building a bridge between those two worlds with impro, maybe? Yes. So Hannah, please.
So what first came to my mind with this context of popular music and improvised music, or if I think about tonal improvisation, or just improvisation in a style, if that's a pop music style of modern days, or whether that's in the style of Schubert or Mozart, it comes with a lot of, I think, we kind of brushed this when we were talking about jazz improvisation earlier, and we were all agreeing on, it's so hard. It's difficult. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes an amazing set of skills, and it's a very different way of thinking and hearing music as well. But I feel like also, if I think about when Anja earlier said that for me, for her, it's been easier to find her place or really feel comfortable in free improvised music and really feel free and feel accepted or feel proficient in something. I think this stems maybe also from, because I've also tried myself on improvising in a style, whether that is jazz flute or whether that is improvising in a Bach style or something. And I think what's holding a lot of people back from this kind of improvisation is maybe a certain amount of fear or something, that, it takes so much knowledge to even just get started. I'm just not going to do it at all. Or I can't do that. And that's something that is so utterly opposite to the way these stylistic improvisation practices have been practiced in the past. For example, if you think about Beethoven, who was like a really crazy good improviser before he was actually like composing stuff, or who had a really hard time composing stuff, but it was a flawless improviser. These people are what we now call hard part. It's like jazz musicians learn by doing, right? Or at least was like that. I don't know about it anymore. I'm not going to do any assumptions here, but at least I think that is something that's that has prevailed over time, is just learning by doing and just giving up all of your fears and just jumping in. I'm thinking back on like trying to recall my first few jam sessions that I've ever been part of. And it's a very thrilling experience because, especially as somebody who's trained in music, especially as somebody who is trained in classical music, it is unbearably hard to let go of your sheet music, to say, okay, I'm going to play something without any notes. So I'm going to come up with it on my own. And it's very, very difficult for people who are not used to that, who don't practice that over the years. But I feel like, especially, for example, in pop music traditions, where sometimes the emotional value of the music has been more important to the compositional process rather than the theory or the super high complexity, for example, of like, I don't know, counterpoint or well, I mean, there is very complex pop music today. I'm not going to say that all pop music is super simply composed, but it is definitely a different way of approaching music. I think pop music is very much active, similar to maybe jazz music, that is really happening while playing. I mean, if I'm thinking about how would I compose a pop song, is I would try to sit there and strum chords on a ukulele or something, rather than if I would think, okay, how do I compose a piece that sounds kind of like Schoenberg? I would be sitting in my room, not listening to a single note I'm writing down, and just working with my head. So it's really like working with your ears rather than working with your head. So I feel like
For sure.
that could be something where improvisation can really come in handy if you want a very fruitful or a very nourishing way of handling the classroom situation, is maybe bringing in, I don't know, more of a jam session like situation even. I'm pretty sure I know Lizzie a little bit. She is my cousin, and I don't really know her students, but I have experienced a little bit the way she approaches them and the way she talks about them and the way she talks about her teaching. And I know that she's a very, very, very engaged teacher, and she does a fabulous job. And I'm very sure that she's going to have a very easy time picking her students up at some point, because she's, I mean, I feel like it's a situation where you have to feel very comfortable with the people around you also, especially at this age. But I feel like that could be a fruitful environment, maybe something that is a little bit more open to, maybe just even listen to songs that they wrote, maybe, or I don't know, just let them strum some things and play some notes and melodies.
Let them just play some shit, you know.
Yes.
So about charming, you should do a bit maths, not only just close yourself in the room. So yeah, and learn how you should, because I also thought like, I just like will write the 12th tone, which will never be repeated. But no, it's not only that. Yeah, but I mean, so if I can give advice from myself, so danke Hanne für deine Inputs. So vielleicht, ja. Elisabeth hat geschrieben, so das Danke Hanlein für deine Inputs.
Aww.
So, yeah. So, for example, when I teach the piano, so I have piano classes, and I wanted to start. I start the both ways, with the classical and the pop, because like I like how you can focus on the moment that you can find the music by hearing. For example, I always start with Minuet from Bach. So you know ta 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da dee da. Because first of all, this piece you can, so the first part of this piece, or the first page, you can play without knowing the notes, because like you can place your hands like directly from C to G, and
Yes.
the fingers will be already there. So yeah, and I'll I give as well for my students as a first pop piece, Let It Be from Beatles.
Nice.
Yes,
For sure.
because it's like really nice. It's really catchy. You can hear like you can sing it like without playing. So and what I give them as a first exercise, I let them. So you know the music. So of course I teach them how to aufbau. Oh my God, English.
Construct.
How to construct, how to build the chords. So how the chords are structured. So like you have the thirds, you have C, E, G, and so on. So you have minor, you have major. So and I let them to find out the chords for the melody by themselves, because it's pretty easy for the beginning. So I of course I help on the some point, but I try to do them their job by themselves. That they try to find the chords which go with those notes.
Yes.
So and yeah, so and like I don't answer exactly about the um, connection between two words, but you can go this like with this kind of advices on your own. So but what you also can do, but to do some improvisation between the verses, for example, in Let It Be. And you can and you also can like to bring the style of also of Bach in Let It Be, because like Let It Be is like it's like a choral, because like we have like kind of organ there, so kind of like I mean, so the kind of color of organ. We have the color of piano, and we have voice, slightly guitar, bass, drums, of course. So, but it's like it really feels like classical piece. So I think you can play with it. So and there and where you can find like some kind of connection. So because if you can find the chords without knowing the notes, and without knowing the chords, like finding them in the internet or something like this, you become the freedom. And this is like kind of improvisation. What gave us improvisation? You have like all those examples of your life. Improvisation gave us freedom to talk, freedom to play, freedom to find the difficult solution in situation when you have not prepared the second piece. Yeah. So
Yes.
sorry for my
No, but this is good because what you just said now, that you let them find the notes, is also like a very good approach, because so if you, there is a model which we use to learn in an didactic improvised course with Urban Meda. This was, yes, Urban Love. Yes, and he actually told us like taught us a really great thing. There's this you can do a core connection between, like, I think first, then I think second sept, and then like fifth without the terts, so that it can be both. Like in the second I think second without, and it's just some weird shifting shit where you can just lay these like the layers below, and then you can check. And it was really like that. We tried it out, and it's just 4 or 5 chords, like, no, 4 chords. And then we tried out how to approach to tonal improvisation for maybe kids, or maybe also like students who are not skilled at all. And we just tried it out, really. We just like put the accord there, and by those little hints, who would have thought that improvising on a 1/5 model of song, which is the bum bum bum, it is so much harder than a complexer structure of harmonies. So it's kind of so logical when you try it out, but I wouldn't have thought it before. So we tried it with a stupid song, der Hans im Schnackerloch, der hatte was er will, or something like that. I don't know the Swiss accent for that. Yes. We have a different one. So we tried out with this other model with this second sept and the I think the sixth without the terza, and actually we found out that all of those 7 notes, like from the from one scale, for example, all of that 7 notes on those 4 chords, so 28, they were just 3 or 4 which were really, really shitty to listen, which really for us as classically skilled musicians, which really did sound wrong. And this is crazy. We have a choice between like 28 notes on all of those, and there are really just 3 that sound unfamiliar to us, and which student could be scared of. Oh, it was a mistake or whatever. And so this was a kind of a cool approach to try out, just so that they could do really anything, and they are not doing anything wrong. This is also like very important. And this was very cool that Urban taught us this, because I could already use it once in a lesson, and my student, she was like really surprised. She was like, "Wow, this sounds cool." And I was like, "Yes, you sound cool, right?" And it was really cute. It was really cool. This was like a cool experience also for me.
Nice.
I should release on that, and I also take to my practice.
Yes.
Afterwards, after the podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so also my wife asked already for the 3rd time, I think, how you deal with quarantine. Is that boring? And Elizabeth Wieland also has said for Honey and for Anja, thanks a lot for the advices. Yes. So, is that boring, ladies?
Hannah, what do you think? Are you bored at the moment?
I am currently not bored at all. Really, I have no time to be bored, to be honest.
Yes.
I think I'm either working on stuff that I have to work on because I'm finishing my bachelor's. It's not like I don't have anything else to do. There's still work to do. So I'm either working on that, which is still very rewarding because I have lots of very, very cool classes and professors. And if I don't feel like doing that, I solve Sudokus a lot. I really like nonograms. They're really cool.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I really love sitting on the terrace for that, or for reading. I do a lot of reading. As I said, I'm rereading Nachmanowitsch. I'm also rereading Steppenwolf, actually. I'm doing a lot of rereading at the moment, yeah. So I don't really have time to be bored. I actually, since I'm home, it's really nice to be home, to be around my parents, to be not alone, because I live alone in Luzern, and it would have been very, very lonely to be there, and there it probably would have been bored.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yes, my apartment is really, really dark in Luzern, and it would have felt just like that. But I'm really glad I'm here. I can go Bärlauchbrocken for my family, and it's it's really good. I'm really glad. My mom cooks extremely yummy food.
Oh, so you found your zen.
Sorry?
So you found your zen, like
yes,
Yes.
Almost. I still have to kind of get back into the. You know, Hannah, just because you don't want to work doesn't mean you don't have to
work.
Yes.
So that one still has to come, but it's okay.
Yeah, my mom, my relatives also ask me, but there are quarantine, so just you should not go to studies. Yeah, I still have stuff to do. And you, Anja, what do you think about this? What you feel about this situation?
I miss my parents. I miss my brother.
Aww.
Because I'm in Lucerne. I am in Lucerne, and it was my mommy's birthday 2 days ago, and it was kind of sad that I couldn't be there and celebrate with them and eat her great cake. Oh my God, she makes like the best food.
Congratulations to your mama.
Yes, thank you.
Belated
Mommy, if you're
birthday.
watching, Yes, but to be honest, I'm in a quite lucky situation still. My boyfriend and me, we moved, which is like a great time in all this quarantine time at the moment.
With no
it was
furniture and no life.
yes. Oh my God, you won't imagine, but see that lamp up there, this one. We are living in this apartment since maybe 3 weeks now. 3 weeks, I think.
Oh my god! So it's really recently.
It was really recently, and we have this lamp since I think maybe 4 days or 5. so so it was. I mean, we improvised a lot. You see, we did a lot of improvisation here. So we survived on having just like as a lighting in our bedroom. We just had 3 of those little lamps, which we had always like we had to switch them off at night like after another. Yes, now no, this one you forgot this one. Okay, I will go. But it's really nice. We have a really nice flat now. It's in a really nice area, Bruchstrasse, Luzern. Bruchstrasse. So it's really nice here, and I am quite glad that I'm not here alone, because I think I would have gone home if Fabian was not here. So actually we're having this is nice, but this is also kind of difficult because just 2 hours ago we finished putting up our hopefully last cupboard shelf. Putin, true. And yes, we are just we always have work to do. This is a thing why I was always really really busy the last weeks, the last days. There was always stuff to clean, stuff to do. The good thing here for me now is I did actually rent a practice room with some guys, some friends of mine who are a band, and I could I could join them, and we rented a room in Litauen. And so this is a good thing, because I think we would have to move out like after 2 weeks again, because our poor neighbors. Imagine a 1.5 room flat in the basement of a really nice but kind of an old and really well audible house
environment.
Environment. Imagine a flutist and an oboist would practice flute, oboe, piccolo, and English horn a whole day, and this every day. This must be very hard. Oh my God.
Yeah, at first, okay. I have a really funny story about the practicing the flute. So I remember closing my first semester in conservatory. So like I lived for this time with my best friend Andre, who is also flautist. So yeah, and I decided to close all the exams 2 weeks before they were, and like in conservatory we have like a bit different amount of classes, so you should do a lot there. So yeah, and I remember like the day after I finished all this, I come to my room, and my friend Andre. So I was crushed. I just want to sleep. So and I remember that I go into bed. I just lay there, and Andre just started the 4th octave on his piccolo. So, but I wasn't care because I just passed out.
You were so tired.
Oh my God, this is so hard. This is hardcore.
So maybe your neighbors are so as well. Maybe they just don't care.
My neighbors listen. The neighbors listen a lot of reggaeton, so it's always some kind of thing going on. So now basically I have to admit, to sum this all up, I think we as musicians, we now get the chance to maybe organize our lives like we didn't have time before. So it's for me, I'm just like doing things. Really, guys, I sorted out my old orchestra scores, and you can't imagine how many I have, how much old stuff I have, and how much old stuff I don't even know where it belongs. I'm like, I didn't play this symphony. Why do I have those?
I know that.
Actually, I think this all is a good chance for all of us, and also to get some practice routine back, which I never had before unless I had holidays, and also to be a bit not to be harsh on myself, because I catch myself feeling guilty because I would have a whole day, like maybe 12, 14 hours, all in total, free time where I could practice. But then I do just 2 or 1 or even none because I don't feel like, or because I am just too busy doing other stuff. And then I always go to bed feeling guilty, and I'm like, but now you should do things. Now it's the time, but it's not. I mean, let's be gentle to ourselves and just do whatever we can, because I just realized that it also pulls me down a bit. So yeah, let's focus on the good stuff.
Yeah, it's like in the meme where the one man says, "If only I had more time," and then in the room comes the big monster with the name More Time.
Yes.
And he's like,
yes.
oh,
Oh my God.
So now you really should. I'm really appreciate this as well, because before I could practice organ organ only on the 3 days before my specialty, or the 3 days in the week, and now I have permission from university that I have only possibility to practice, and I'm really grateful for this, from 9 to half to 11:45. So just I cannot like see it there like for 6 or for 7 hours like I normally do. So in the 3 days in a row, I should go like really fucking every day.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't have enough time. So Hannah, say us something nice about your quarantine.
something nice.
Yeah. So So you say that you found your zen, but there are only Sudoku and pies, or is there something another? And also dreaming about your new university in Tallinn.
Sauna.
Oh yeah.
Honey has a sauna. Everyone is jealous of.
Also
What?
next week. Also next week, finally, the people are gonna finish our pool up, so we can fill our pool back up. Yeah. And so you get why I wanted to be here, right? Rather than
Yes.
Sorry. No, I mean,
no hope. Life is not fair, even.
I mean, apart from all of this being really good for me, and I really appreciate it. Of course, it's really some days I have the similar feeling as you did, Anja, when I really just spend a whole day doing nonograms and not did anything really what I wanted to do or what I thought I would be so busy now because now I have time. But also then other days when I forget to think about how guilty I am, and I get up and I'm drinking my coffee and I'm thinking, I'm so excited. I really want to check this tune out that this and this professor sent me yesterday. And I just, for example, I mean, I'm sorry for coming back to him again, but I was to Brett Frith actually a few days ago. We recorded a solo album in 74, and it's like a 40-minute solo album, just him. It's absolutely beautiful. It's great. And one of my professors sent it to me, and she was like, yeah, check this out, because I'm working on solo improv with her right now. And I just sat on our porch for a total of 3 or 4 hours. And I was trying to do some reading before and listening to Fred. And then I just had to put my book aside and just sat there in the sun in the morning for 3 or 4 hours listening to this one album on repeat. And it was so rewarding because I had the time to do that. I had the time to actually sit down and really engage in a listening experience. I really appreciated that. And then other times when, for example, when I really just couldn't help myself but work on a project, or I really felt like, oh yes, I really want to do this. I really want to finish this thing. And I did a few recordings and I did a little bit of audio editing for a few projects, and doing these kind of things really, this would have taken so much stressful and harmful, maybe even work, if there would be still 100,000 things to think of. But if it's just like this one project or one of two projects that you have in a week or something, it's really rewarding if you get to finish it and if you get to work on it, because you also have time. You have time to take a break after 2 or 3 hours and to say, okay, now I'm taking an hour break and I'm just going to eat some of my freshly baked brownies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, I'm trying to focus on that and not think too much, or not spend my energy into thinking, oh, you should be doing this. Oh, you're not doing this again. Oh my God, you're so lazy, and just always judging myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring me anywhere. It really just, if I spend any energy in that, it just blocks me. There's no possibility of me doing anything. So I'm really trying to every morning get up and focus on something else than that. So that helps me a lot. And I'm hoping that I get back on my wheels, because I do have my Abschlussprüfung at some point or another.
Yes.
It will be fine, I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so yeah, I think this is a perfect time for people to calm down, to take their own peace, and to focus on the stuff without pushing on yourself real hard. And I think this is a perfect place to finish our podcast for today. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
it was a horror and a pressure. We loved it.
Thank you very much. So yeah, please stay safe. Take your distance. Yeah, between people. Stay gesund.
Healthy.
Stay healthy. Do some exercises. Read some books. Don't think about numbers and stuff. Just focus on yourself and take care. So, and what I want to ask you, just can you say to people that they are subscribed to my channel and support us in doing the podcast like this? It will be really, really nice.
Thank you so much for inviting us. I think for especially since we are really good friends, and also in private and in music and everything, it was really cool to have this conversation also with you, Ivan. Thank you so much for inviting us. And yeah, subscribe to him. He's cool. He's really cool.
Yay.
Well, I really appreciate whatever is on Ivan's channel.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
friends of
I
mine.
paid them. I
Some
paid
of
them.
it is people I don't even know who those are.
Yes.
But either way, the content is great. Really,
Yes.
really. Also, last
Aw.
podcast. and the
This
one
was
before.
great. Yes.
Yes. Keep doing what you're doing, Ivan. Keep
Yes.
pushing. Not too hard, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very
And
much.
yeah, keep safe, everybody, and lots of patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everything.
And thank you so much. I had a wonderful evening.
Yes, and
Yeah.
thank you, all of you who listened to us talking a lot, especially me talking a lot, and also
You
to all of us
talk so
talking
We
a
all
lot.
talked a lot. Don't
Even
worry.
I
Okay.
talked about.
So lots of love for you all. Thank you for everything.
So, thank you, everybody. Take care.
Good night.